our MC, Angel.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cast Live, where leaders connect with future leaders. I am Angel San Miguel, and I am a junior at Cast Lead High School. Today we are excited to welcome Mr. Peter Holt. In 2021, Peter Holt became the third member of the Holt family to serve as chairman of Spurs Sports Entertainment, continuing the Holt's 23 leadership of the organization. Mr. Holt and his sister, Karina Holt Richard, have owned and managed Holt Cat since 2017. Now the largest Caterpillar dealer in the country, with over 2,700 employees and more than 50 locations throughout Texas. Holt Cat is a fifth-generation family-owned business headquartered in Southeast San Antonio. Holt serves as CEO and general manager of Holt Cat. Peter Holt is passionate and focused on improvement and youth opportunities as expressed by his involvement on the board of SA Works and UIW. He participates on the United Way of San Antonio and Bexar County Executive Committee and is actively involved in United Way fundraising. Please give Mr. Peter Holt a warm welcome and a round of applause. Mr. Peter Holt, can you tell us about your leadership journey and how your early career choices led you to where you are now?
Sure. First, can we just give a shout out to Angel's shoes? You see what I'm saying? I've never been so showed up in my life. It's very impressive. Well, good morning, everybody. It's nice to be here with y'all. I, with Gene and some other folks, have been a bit of a part of the cast journey from inception, and so it's very special to me to be here with y'all and to see that vision from Mr. Butt and the cast leaders come to fruition. And so I know when I was 15 or 16 or 17, I probably just didn't know or didn't really care. But you know, I will tell y'all, and maybe it'll sink in, that y'all have a lot of love and support in the community, and people really want to see you do well and succeed, and people you know and people you don't know. So I feel very honored to be here and thankful. To your first question, Angel, around leadership and leadership journey, I'm super lucky in that you know, my family and the people that work around my family are very committed to kind of a culture of development that's rooted in core values. And so we have a set of core values at Holt that really is kind of how we operate. And within those core values, the way that we make those come to life versus just words like ethical or commitment or success, which are some of the values. We have a whole kind of mentorship organization and leadership development organization that some of it you have to do, some of it like school you gotta show up for, and then other parts of it you kind of have to volunteer for. And so I was really lucky that I had portions of my life where it just kind of, I had to do it, even though maybe I didn't know that I needed it or wanted it. And then other portions where I could say, oh, that's interesting. Like you were talking to me earlier about entrepreneurship class. You're like, oh, that's interesting. I want to learn more about that. I will actually read a book of my choosing, you know, versus somebody making me read a book. And so early on in my life, I was exposed to that. And some of it was pushed, and some of it, you know, I could look at and say, hey, that's interesting to me. Like one of those courses that I took early on was a course called Principles of Persuasion, and it goes in basically the research of influence. and the research of, hey, if you actually are trying to get somebody else to do something, in a weird way, asking them questions may actually be better than telling them what to do. So my journey in leadership was I was really fortunate to be around people that kind of pulled me in and gave me explicit direction. But then I was able to observe and see areas where I wanted to just kind of step up and learn more. So that's kind of a snapshot.
That is amazing. That's great. How would you define great leadership?
Well, I think leadership. I think people confuse leadership with title. What I mean by that is like I've got these fancy titles like CEO and managing partner and all these like fancy titles. So people think that if you have a title, that means you're a leader, and that's not true. A lot of times it is true. A lot of times they're and they should be together. People that do have big fancy titles should be good leaders. But that's not really how leadership works. Leadership is behaviors and actions that inspire other people. I think that's what it means to me, and inspire others, especially to get together in teams for a common purpose. I think that's what good leaders do. And so, what are some traits of good leadership to me? One is to be a really good communicator, and to be a good communicator, I think you have to ask a lot more questions than do telling. And then I think another attribute is humility, and don't confuse humility with humiliation. The most humble people I know are also very firm and very confident people, and so. But they believe that they're not the most important person all the time, and so I think humility is really important. And then maybe there's a bunch of traits for good leadership, but picking three, I think the other one is authenticity. I think that if you're not authentic, if you're not yourself, then people will sniff that out. They see it almost immediately. And so if you think that if you're an introvert or if you're a shy person, and you think, oh, to be a good leader, I need to be funny and charismatic and talk to everybody. Then people will just sniff that out. There's some amazing leaders out there that are shy, and people think, well, that can't happen. Welcome to the party. Hi, that's all right. I'm late all the time. I think that you just need to be authentic. You need to be yourself, and not everybody. Don't worry that making sure that everybody likes you. Because that's impossible. So, what do you think good leadership is? He didn't know I was going to ask him.
No, I didn't, but I did expect you to ask some questions, so that's really good. So, me personally, I think what makes a good leader is somebody who's involved with like the employees' work and who helps out. I really like servant leadership. That's one of my things. Thank you, Mr. Cooper. But I really do like servant leadership. I try to do that myself. I try to organize stuff, and I try to help in and talk to all my friends and just help out as best as I can. And to me, I think that's what great leadership is, because I know me personally, I would like somebody to do that for me.
It's awesome.
Hi, sir. I'm so sorry I'm late. There's a bit of traffic. But my name is Alexis Martinez. I am from Caston High School. It's so nice to meet you. I have a question to ask you as well. So my question is, can you speak to your relationship to the community and why you are so dedicated to giving back?
I was actually not born in San Antonio. I was born in Corpus Christi. Any Corpus folks out there? Hey, one. Sweet. Two. Yeah, I was born in Spawn Hospital, and then we moved up here when I was 3, and so San Antonio is my home. I think that San Antonio is a special place because it's incredibly welcoming. It's really, really diverse. Not only in maybe the academic definition of that, but just in where people are from and their backgrounds and their thoughts and views. There's just so many different people here, and I think that makes it special because we honor that in a good way, and we want to bring that out in people. So I think that's why I love San Antonio. But on the other side of it, there's some attributes to San Antonio that aren't great. Unfortunately, a couple of those are academic outcomes and success that aren't very equitable. That in different parts of town and different demographics, there's a wide variety of people getting a chance at a good education, and then there's also a lot of generational poverty, meaning that from grandfather or to father or mother to son. It's hard. It can be hard for certain families to get out of that, and that to me is unacceptable. Where there's a town where there's a lot of wealth and not a lot of wealth, and so we should find ways to increase opportunities for individuals, for families, for groups. To have an equal chance at success, and so I feel strongly that let's be honest, like I was born into wealth, and that's an immense responsibility for me to not take advantage of that, and hopefully use that as a superpower to help others, like you were saying, Angel, to be of service versus just to kind of live in my own little world and be greedy. So that's I think what drives me to stay connected to San Antonio and try to help others as much as I can. I think the other reason is so many people in San Antonio have helped me, and not just like people with fancy titles or people of power, or people that look like me. But just all different types of people in San Antonio reach out their hands and say, do you need help? Or I say, can I need help? And people are so willing to be of service, and so I need to pay that back.
I think that is such a great thing. I wasn't a local from San Antonio either, so I can see why you draw inspiration from wanting, like, this is such a great city and you want to help out. And I'm so glad you came here to speak with us, because that's like you're helping us out in a way and allowing us to be able to connect to you. So thank you so much. So another question is, did you experience any struggles or challenges along the way in your life that you would like to share with us today?
For sure. I mean, I think that to be in positions to really help others, I think that one of the best things that happened to me is going through some hard things, and it's hard to have compassion for others if you've had a smooth journey. And whether the instance is the same, meaning the actual, your car broke down and I've never experienced that, or, I mean, that's a kind of a lame example, but, even if the hardship is not the exact same with someone, experiencing tough things and then getting through them is a way that you can provide unity and empathy for others. And so, yeah, for sure, like in my life, where so for maybe a specific example is out of high school, I got into UT Austin. And I was excited about it, I was thrilled about it, and then when I got there, from an academic standpoint, I got completely lost. And all I did was party and hang out with my friends. Angel, why are you laughing? It's a serious story. But no, I mean, it's kind of a stereotypical journey for a lot of freshmen in high school, college, maybe high school too, but where I just got lost, and I lost my love for learning, and I lost my way, and all I did was spend my time on kind of selfish and self-centered daily fun. And you know what happens when you do that? The school sends you a letter that says, thank you so much for attending, you're not welcome back here. And so I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what my pathway was going to be, and I found myself, I was one of those kids that was like, oh, I'm going to be 18 and never come back to San Antonio, never, mom and dad, see you later, I'll never need you again. And where was I? I was back home, living in my room, that I swore that I would never be in again. And luckily, I had really good friends and family members that helped me get out of that and helped me find a pathway back to success. And I actually went. My first real job was actually going to work in a charter school as a teacher's assistant. I went to work at George Gervin Academy, and I had no idea what I wanted to do or what to do. I didn't know, how to show up on time. I didn't know how to live life. And there were so many people at the school, in my life, that guided me to maturity and guided me to find things that I did love and find things that I could be good at and find my confidence and find my inner peace. And that's what led me to going back to school. So I went back to San Antonio College, community college, and then graduated from Incarnate Word. Go Cardinals. And I never thought I would be in our family business. I wanted to do different stuff, and luckily, I believe in God, and God opened doors, and really smart people pushed me through those doors and said, you should probably go do that. And it's led me to a really fulfilling and useful life.
So would you say that you had community to help you with?
100%. 100% people helped me. People that I asked, and probably more people that I didn't even ask for help helped me, which I think is just a wonderful. I'm so lucky that I had those people in my life.
So, going back to high school, like how you said, what advice would you give your high school self?
I think that probably the biggest piece of advice I'd give myself is to ask for help. I think that I was so scared and still am scared to ask people for help. I think that a lot of our society, or maybe it's just human nature, thinks that that's weakness. And I feel that sometimes. I feel scared to ask people for help. And in high school, I really felt scared. I felt alone and scared to ask people for help and to tell people how I was feeling. I don't know why I was scared, but I was. And so I think that's the biggest piece of advice I'd give myself is, quit thinking you're Mr. Cool or Mr. Macho, and ask your friends for help, or tell them how you're feeling, or find somebody to express your emotions and feelings to, because that's real strength. Real strength is being able to say, I'm not okay, and how can I get okay, or maybe not get okay, but get better. And so I think that's the biggest piece of advice I give myself. The second one that's maybe a little more like practical, or I don't know, maybe the first one's practical, but is I wish I would have started a business or did something like that early on, or gotten a job. I worked summers and stuff like that, but I wish most of that was like, people telling me what to do, which was good. I'm glad they did, but so you can learn so much from starting a business. And I'm not saying like, it doesn't need to be, restaurants or something. It can be, it could be a million things. It could be mowing people's lawns. But starting a business is such a great learning experience in probably more life aspects than even business aspects of doing that. So that'd be my second piece of advice.
It's actually very convenient, because since you said that, I've been actually thinking of like starting my own little like car detailing kind of business. And
Should do it.
It's something I was looking at, and it just looked like fun. Even though I don't like to wash anything, it's for money, so might as well.
So
How much you charging? Do you know your pricing yet?
Well, probably just like $100 a month to go and clean.
100 a month.
Oh, hear me out.
All right. So you're gonna be at my house like every day. If that's
So I was thinking about looking at the people like the BMWs, the good-looking cars, not like super fancy, but like good-looking brands, and just kind of tell them I'm cutting them a discount and just charge like $100 a month, like one time, and just to go. And then eventually, I'm trying to hopefully fill up my schedule so I can just go to different houses, and then from there on.
Should do it.
But yeah, don't think that $100 a month is that crazy.
So you mentioned about your emotions and looking for support or figuring out ways how to deal with them. So what are some ways that you balance your professional and your personal life so that you can have like an equal life or a proper way of living without being stressed too much?
I think that I hope I'm not going to get in trouble for this, Gene. I think work-life balance is an overused term, quite honestly. I don't think it's BS, but I think that it's misappropriated. It's talked about too much. There are plenty of times in my life where I had no balance, and I am super grateful for those times. Are they sustainable? No. Like you can't work 80 hours a week every week for like 30 years and expect to have a family. But that's obvious. So I think that it's overused because it implies perfection, and there just is no perfection. And so I screw up time management all the time, but my intentions are really good. And so I think if people focus on their intentions and being of service to whatever they're involved in, then the right time management, it'll become so apparent that you can't ignore it. And if you do ignore it, you'll have the consequences, And so, but there are times in my life and some of those times are like right now, where I'll go months and I don't have balance, And luckily, I have people in my life that know that my intentions are to be a good friend, or to be a good father, or to be a good worker, and they call me out, and they say, "Hey, haven't seen you. Do you want to hang out? We're friends." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's probably a good idea." So I would urge people to not necessarily get so hung up on having perfect balance to where they don't sometimes have to just get stuff done. And I'll tell everybody this, the value of hard work is still very real. It is very real. Yes, do people still get better opportunities than other people and a hand up and an easier pathway? 100%. But I regularly see people achieve their dreams and goals by outworking other people, 100%. And sometimes that means that you have to sacrifice balance for a little bit. So nobody's going to know that except you and the people you love, and that you tell them that you love them and that you want their help, and that's the only way you'll know.
And our last question is, can you share a meaningful experience you had with one of the cast students?
With Angel, before this. Angel told me that he started the first class here at Cast Lead. And, he said that in 8th grade, that he had a desire to learn a different way. and had a desire to really get to know his teachers and his classmates, and to have, he didn't say it, but this is what I heard, to have an impact. And that cast lead was a different avenue for him to do that. And what I was thinking was, like, in 8th grade, I was like picking my nose and playing basketball. Like, what a impressive young man. You know, like, if you're thinking about that in 8th grade, Angel, you know, tell me when you want a job, because you can come work at Holt. Like, come on, man. You gotta give yourself credit. That's crazy. So, you know, you're already thinking about things that are way, way advanced, and that's very impressive.
Thank you. But you're gonna make me cry in front of all these people, man. You can't do that to me. No, I'm kidding. But at this time, we are gonna close the Q&A session, just so that we can thank Mr. Holt one more time by giving him a big round of applause. Louder, louder, louder. We are so grateful for your time and your partnership, and we hope you have a great day.
Are we doing audience Q&A? Do we have time?
Yes.
Oh, never mind, guys. Don't get mad at me. It was on accident.
Sorry? Oh, we have 6 questions already, so y'all are in trouble. I think they want y'all to come up and do the mic. Do y'all want them to do that? What's that? So I think if you just have a question, you can just go up to one of these mics right here.
Yeah, if you guys have a question, if you'd like to line up at the closest mic, and then maybe our representative MCs could come help us kind of hand off the mics. Would that be okay? Mr. Holt, will that leave you all alone on stage? You're
What'd you
right.
say? Oh, I'm all alone?
Yeah, if I steal them to run the mics, is that okay?
You want to go ahead?
So I'm Daisy. I'm a junior at Cassidy High School, and
Did you say Lindsay?
Daisy.
Daisy, I'm sorry, Daisy.
That's right. I have 6 questions, and I'll start with the first one. How does your leadership role affect the way you present yourself in, like, your personal life? Like, would it be different than how you are in, like, your work
I
environment?
hope not. I think that's a misnomer, that people think they have to have different lives. Sure, you know, I probably cuss a little less when I'm on stage than with my friends, you know? And sure, maybe I'm like a little sillier with my kids than I am at work. But in general, I hope that I'm the same person. And I think that a lot of people feel like they can't be their authentic self at work. And sure, like, you should probably, you know, be a little more professional or dress a little different than you would on a Sunday morning in your PJs. Like, everybody knows that, but I think that you should feel like your authentic self wherever you go.
Thank you.
Hello,
Hello.
my name is Ryan and I am a junior at Cass Lead High School, so I'm with the people right across the street. My question was, I know that Holt is a huge company within San Antonio, obviously, but what is some of the favorite activities, like fundraising activities and stuff like that, of yours, personally, that you like to get involved with?
Like within the business or outside of it?
Yeah, within the business, like having to do with San Antonio's, donating to charities, going to
I got
events
you.
and stuff like that.
Yeah. From my I've got 4 little kids, and you know, from my days at George Gervin, I actually didn't want to go into our family business. I thought I wanted to be a teacher. Y'all can be thankful I'm not a teacher, because I would not be very good. But that was a great learning experience when I went and worked at George Gervin Academy, because I realized that I could help others and hopefully help kids, but didn't need to do that as my career. And so I try to get involved as much as I can with education and helping our education system be better. It's unfortunately, there's a lot of gaps, especially, well, across the board, but especially in our really early education, so little kids. And so, I really enjoy learning about that and giving back, and whether that's money or time or influence, that's what I really get a lot of fulfillment. I really get a lot of fulfillment out of that. And then in the business, like I found that some of the boring things that other people don't like, I really like. So like, operations, like finding little problems in our business and getting teams together to work on that is really fun to me. So things that I never thought would be fun now. Like I like to read does anybody know what a financial statement is?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it's like how much money you make, how many costs you have. Like I love reading financial statements. I like just nerd out.
It's kind of funny that you say that because Cast Lead juniors in specific are finishing up a business project having to do with building a food truck from the ground up.
There you go.
And we had to do our own financing and all the numbers and stuff like that. And so the wonderful Mr. Cooper.
Way to go, Mr. Cooper.
Yeah.
Listen, you will already be, I'm dead serious. If you learn even 50% of that right now, you'll be ahead of 80% of 25-year-olds out there. 80%, no joke. If you know what an interest rate is, maybe you'll be 99% ahead. I'm serious. That's how screwed up our education system is. We don't teach people what money is, So good for you. That's great. Yeah. I don't know if the mic's on, Dylan. Is it on? Here, this one's on. Hello?
Yeah. My name's Dylan I'm a senior at East Central, and I was wondering if there was like a way for seniors to possibly get into Holt like early.
Yes, there is. We do internships, and so you can just contact. Is Becky here? Is Becky here? Oh. Well, you can have them just contact Becky, who's on the CAST advisory board. She's our leader of human resources. And we have all types of internship programs, or if you're going to graduate and you're looking for like a full-time job, then just get with Becky. Or you can also peruse our website. If you just Google Holt Cat Careers, it should come up and you click it and it'll show all of our open jobs. So it depends on kind of what your skill set is. We have everything from like very technical roles, so being a diesel mechanic working on tractors, to working in finance, right? So our customers, a lot of times they need help buying a tractor and they want to finance it, meaning get a loan for it. We have people that help with that. So we have like the very broad spectrum of roles, and we're hiring. So even if there's not a role that's a direct fit, I think it'd be a great experience for you to talk with Becky or talk with one of our recruiters, and they can give you advice on, okay, if that job looks interesting but you don't have the right experience right now, well, here's a way for you to go do that via school or via other opportunities or maybe an internship to start. So yeah, there's a bunch of different ways.
And Dylan, if you want some help, if you come to John Glenn and you find Miss Foster in her office, I can walk you through the process. They have summer internships posted right now.
Okay, thank you.
My name is Ty. I'm a senior at CASTEM. And my question is, what is a moment in your career that you gave up, but then what helped you continue to push through?
One of my roles at Holt, I requested to take over a division that was failing. We were in the ag equipment business, and I thought, I'm a pretty smart guy. I can turn this around. And I hired a new team. I spent thousands of hours with the employees, going with customers, and I couldn't turn it around. I couldn't do it. There was too much debt on the business, and there was too much bad inventory, and it was going to take us 5 to 7 years, and more money that was in our budget to even get a chance to turn it around, and I couldn't see it. couldn't see that it wasn't impossible, but it was not the right decision to keep going. It would have been better to basically sell it or shut it down and have somebody else take that over and maybe do well with it. And I couldn't see it. My own ego was in the way, and I couldn't see it. Luckily, there were people around me, including my boss, who said we need to do that. And I did that. I went to each place and I had to lay people off. I had to tell people, listen, I failed and we failed. And that was very, very hard. That was very, very hard to go tell people that this is going to affect your family. And it's the right decision, but there's bad consequences to it. And I was pretty depressed about that. But luckily, I had people around me that told me things like, there's actually no good and bad teachers, there's just teachers. And so we can learn something from this. And so having supportive people around me in a hard time was what helped me get through that.
Thank you very much.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Layla. I'm in 9th grade. I go to Cassidy. And my question is, what was the roughest thing that you ever accomplished in your goals, and how did you overcome it?
Other than the experience that I just talked about, which was really hard in my professional career, the getting kicked out of UT Austin was pretty crappy. I really felt lost, and I felt ashamed, and I didn't have healthy habits to know how to turn it around. And so again, I'm just really lucky that I have special people in my life that love me no matter what, and they helped me find a way to live and behave and take actions that was in a really healthy, more selfless way than I was acting. And that helped me. They helped me also find faith again, because I had lost faith in God, and so that also provides me a lot of inner peace when I'm feeling down, or I'm feeling that I can't accomplish something. I rely on my faith.
Thank you for your time.
Hey, my name is Marcus, and I go to Cass Lee High School. I'm in 10th grade, and I was wondering if you had any advice, because you mentioned that you said that you do like fundraising and you give back to the community a lot, and I wanted to see if you had any advice, because I'm doing a community giving project for DECA to give back to a local like San Antonio organization for like children. And I wanted to know like if you had any pointers for a person who's never like done a fundraiser before, and like do you have any like advice on like how to make one that's like really successful and does well? Like do you need like a partner, like a bigger partner to like, like what's the best way to go about it essentially?
There's a bunch of different ways to go about it that I've seen that are successful. The first advice that I'd give for you, Marcus, right? The first piece of advice is to be yourself, and so be authentic. And so if you like throwing parties, man, throw a party. If you don't, if you're like, oh, that's not me, that's not what Marcus, really feels like doing, then don't do it. Don't feel pressured, because I don't know if you look around, but every weekend there's 35Ks and 50 ice cream socials and 1,000 fundraisers. So me, like throwing fundraisers for me is inauthentic. That's not my style. They can work for people, but they usually work best for people that's what they're good at. That's what they love. They enjoy it. They're a DJ. They know, but they have a ton of friends, and they can gather people easily. That's not me. And so the way I fundraise is I ask people. I ask people for money. And I think a lot of people are afraid to ask people for money, and that's just silly. If you've got a good cause and you know how to explain it, then you should ask people for money. And I think you'd be surprised that people will say yes. The other thing is when you ask people for money, be specific. I think too many people are afraid because they think they will offend somebody. You know what? Life's too short. You're gonna offend somebody, Marcus, so don't worry about it, you know? And if they say, Marcus, I'm offended, then say, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. I'm trying to raise $100 for X, Y, Z, and you seem like a person that could help out with that, and so that's why I'm talking to you about it. So sometimes we complicate life, and life's not that complicated. And so I would say find what's authentic to you, and then work hard at it, and you will be rewarded.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, my name is AJ, and my question is, how did you decide that you want to do this, even though there's a lot of other things to do, like, say for instance, in different businesses? How did you decide this is what I want to do as a person, and how did you think when other people thought of it, like, how did you not care what they thought?
Yeah, I'm very hard-headed and stubborn, and I don't have a lot of like personal vision. You know, I know people that like do like 10-year plans for themselves. That's not me. I've never done that. I've tried it, and it doesn't work for me. So usually, I try to surround myself with really smart people and good people that have good values. And it's amazing how many opportunities just present themselves. And I try to walk through those doors, and if it's not a fit, I listen to that inner voice and I do something different. That sounds very simple, but what I would say, what my advice to people is, instead of focusing on a job or a vision or a 5-year plan, write down your core values, your personal core values. So if that is like having fun or laughing or giving back or helping kids or being successful or doing the right thing, like if those are your values, it doesn't need to be complicated. Write down 3 of them. And then seek out activities that match those. Whether they're businesses or they're people, where you spend your time is ultimately who you are as a person. And so, you know, if you find yourself spending time with people that don't match your values, you know, don't spend time with them anymore. Like, I try not to overcomplicate it. And if whatever my engagement at the time doesn't feel right, then I switch it up. I usually, though, ask somebody else first, because my brain can be a little crazy sometimes. I don't know if yours can, but mine can get a little wonky in there.
Yeah, mine's really crazy.
Yeah, so sometimes I like to get those thoughts out of my head to somebody else, and then they tell me, hey, that's actually pretty normal, like you should follow that thought. Or they tell me, hey man, you may want to sleep on that because that's a little crazy. And so I sleep on it and have a different idea. So that's what I do.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Oh, looks like they're kicking me off. You kicking me off?
No, I'm not gonna kick you off.
Oh, all right.
Not yet.
We don't have time for any more questions?
Unfortunately, we already have some kiddos who are heading to their next class.
Yeah, you have to go to school.
Yeah, to avoid the mass exodus, I figured we'd go ahead and wrap up. But before we do, just wanted to say thank you for being here. Also wanted to thank you, CAS Lead students, Miss Vasquez, you know, the superwoman over here. We can thank her for setting this up. Thank you. We so appreciate your partnership. We appreciate you being here and look forward to continuing to work with you and see the great things you do, and you get to see the great things these young people are going to do. So thank you guys so much for your attendance. Let's please give Mr. Holt one more round of applause.
All right, thank y'all so much. Y'all have a great day.
All right, kiddos. If you're at East Central High School, it's about time to transition to your next course.